Hello. Hi. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here again. And though I'm not feeling my best. I'm just recovering from a little health spell. But, right. Apparently, I'm having ad pop-ups on my podcast recordings. Okay. So I was not feeling my best, and usually I think if I'm not feeling my best, I may not be able to give my best and all, but I just felt that this is something that needs to be done and needs to be done now. Because the impression is strong. I mean, sometimes I might even have the time, I might be feeling my best, but I'm just not, enthusiastic about what I wanted to talk about, or the list or topic of things I want to talk about. So I often prefer to talk about things when they come, even when I'm not feeling comfortable, I've not had enough sleep, and I'm just not feeling my best. So yeah, here we go. So this is going to be like a movie. I don't like to say movie review because it's a movie musing. Let's put it that way. My thoughts on the movies I watch or the serials I watch. And the movie that is featured this time, not a serial. The movie is Fine Wine. Fine Wine. Now, I don't think this will be my first movie musing that is about a Nigerian movie. So the ones I've been doing have been Western and Asian, mostly Western, European, Asian. So this will be like my first time of doing that, and it's not because I don't watch Nigerian movies. I watch a lot of movies, but I just didn't see myself as somebody doing a movie review. But I thought, you know what, I have a lot of things to say about this, so why don't I just say it? So here it goes. So Fine Wine. I don't drink. I do not drink alcohol. I don't take alcohol. It's not my pleasure thing. So thankfully. So when I saw Fine Wine, I was like, I don't want to watch this one because they'll be talking about something I'm not into, But I understood the context of Fine Wine, because when I saw Fine Wine, I knew it was like it has to do with age difference, and how age difference doesn't mean old. But it means better. Aging means better. So I understood the context in which Fine Wine was said. But like we say in Nigeria, even do upon still. So, but then I thought what convinced me was, or rather who convinced me to watch it was Sir, I'll call him Sir because my goodness, that he's an elderly man to millennials like us, This is somebody that has been on TV screen from the time my mom, before I was born, right? So this is somebody that's been acting before I was born. So I cannot just call him by his name like that. So Sir Richard Buffet Damajo, known as RMD. So I hadn't watched anything he's been in for a very long time. So I thought, you know what, let me watch this. And it wasn't fast-paced, but it was what I can call slow and steady, but full of promise. is what I would call the movie. Slow, steady, but full of promise. And let's just say it's not a new concept. The storyline is not new, it's not unexpected. It's something that is part of our society, actually. Very much part of our society. But I like the nuances they brought into it, like they displayed the nuances, the major ones anyway, that makes romance between a very young woman and a man old enough, her father's age mate, probably even someone older than her father. It's not something that is accepted, but people have run out of arguments, to counter it. One, two, men are given a pass on a lot of things. They say, oh, it might not be the best thing, but so eventually, even if we don't feel comfortable with something, we still sort of like, make excuses for it to pass, right? It's not for me personally, I don't have a problem with it. Like a younger woman with an older person, I understand that. As much as it's not my personal preference, I don't think it's wrong, I just think it's important that both of you love each other, that love has to be there, and that love has to be filled with a lot of understanding, but at the same time, there has to be like, you guys have to be equals. Like, let the only thing that is not equal about both of you be the age. Like, age should be the only unequal thing about you two. But everything else, like, you're on the same frequency when it comes to how you both think. You're on the same frequency when it comes to how you view things. Or whether frequency or same wavelength, or maybe frequency is the word. There are times when there'll be statics, of course, but there'll be that common thread. There'll be that what you two have in common, which technically is how every relationship should be, Like they say, age is just a number and all. So that's been like the what the story is about, I didn't feel bored, because obviously it's not a new concept. An older man, a wealthy older man, obviously. I mean, there aren't that many cases where the older man is a middle, is comfortable but not rich. Like, is how will I put it now? There aren't that many cases where there is love between a middle class older man and a young girl. It's usually the very wealthy men, but considering the fact that I am from a union where my father was very comfortable. I mean, I attended a private school when I was starting school as a child. So, I mean, to attend private school in the early 90s was a thing, was a flex. It still is now, but private schools way back then in Nigeria the education was top notch, right? Unlike now where it's just the label, but the content, you don't find many private schools with quality content. Way back then, if it was a private school, it was almost automatic that there will be content. Like, I mean, because then public schools were standard. They had high standard as well. So I mean, you have to obviously have more to offer so that to compete with a public school. I mean, if you have less in terms of quality education than what a private school has or public school has, what are you there for? What are you offering exactly? So I shouldn't digress too much from the story, but I'm just saying that my dad was not as rich was not as financially wealthy as the man in fine wine. Right? So that was that story there. How they met. I like the fact that it started with friendship, although there was an attraction there, but neither of them were willing to pursue it. And I think that's another thing. When it comes to wide age gap, people with wide age gap getting together, it can be a habit, because if it's a habitual thing for you to be with a much younger person if you're older, or with a much older person if you're younger, how do you even know it's love? How do you know it's not obsession? How do you know it's not trauma? How do you know? But those two, they obviously prefer to be with people their age. So it was an uncomfortable surprise for them. But in the midst of that uncomfortable attraction, they had a comfortable friendship, if that makes sense. So I like that's why I said it was slow and steady, and I can't remember the third thing I said about that one. But so I let's just say I like the story. I mean, I wish there was more to it than that. But then again, I thought, what more could there be in that story, without losing the core message that story is trying to pass. That one, not all wealthy men are these randy sex fiends who are predating, who are just looking for young girls to devour, right? 2, not all young women are, this opportunistic, gold-digging social climbers who are just looking for a lonely, wealthy man to poach on, right? So, I mean, of course, you always see distorted versions of this dynamic as it is. I mean, isn't that why we are human? We're diverse, with the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So, yeah, there are those. But then you also have a situation where, when you look at it, it can be in its purest form. It can be its purest form of love, like the best thing that's happened to either of them. And, that the friendship they developed and the attraction they had for each other helped them to get out of the toxic relationships they were in. They were both in toxic relationship. The older man was in a toxic connection, if you may, with his ex-wife, right? While the young lady was in a toxic relationship with her senior colleague at work, who, I don't even know, like, you can hardly say from the guy to her, there was nothing really. It's like he's always telling her what to do, I mean, that was how she even met the man in the first place. That's how she got close to him, because she blew him off when there was a mix-up somewhere, and he was supposed to be her boyfriend's prospective client. And instead of brother man, who obviously bungled that whole thing up to start with, to fix it, he placed the whole thing on her. Like, that guy was one selfish, indifferent, I don't know, so and so, right? And they both helped each other. You know, when it's not that you're into each other's business like that, but the fact that you are in each other's life, you're talking, it makes you see things differently. Like, it's like you're like, you know what, I deserve better than what I've been doing since, you know. And if the story is to be believed, which I think it should be, it's not all the time. Sometimes a new friendship could help you see the toxic place you're in and help you to really look at it and get out of it. But those are exceptions, of course. Most of the time, what happens is, as long as you are in a bad relationship, a good relationship will not come. You know, so it came to a head at some point where their private lives, you know, the relationships they were in clashed. It intruded because they got far, you know, and emotional connection, of course. And it was very interesting because they had to let go. You know, they had to let go before they could really be with each other anyway. They had to before they even move on. And that's the thing. Sometimes when it's like what she said towards the end, like once you've tasted something different, it alters your view in a lot of ways, and you begin to see, like, wow, I've been taking the bad stuff thinking it was good, you know, but now that I've heard the best of the best, I can't go back to what I used to. I can't go back to what I don't even know what that. In fact, that tastes like crap right now. I can't even stand it. And both of them were like, even if they don't get to be together, but they had to detoxify. Where it's not for to be with each other, but just to like start afresh. So it was a very beautiful story of a man a good man, needed love, hadn't found one, and he found it in someone. He's like, what the freaking heck? And he had a friend that was always, that was just always teasing him and all. And the fact that his children were, okay with it, especially his daughter. And she was like, I'm fine with this. I'm okay. In fact, can you move a little faster with this relationship you guys are having? Because you guys are not just friends. Like, there's more going on here. So let's just cut to the chase. I think the drama was very minimal, obviously, because they could have drawn drama from everywhere. It could have been that the children didn't like her, or something, The drama was minimal. nothing overboard and all. It was just a soft love story that has a happy ending. So you might want to check that out if you're trying to like relax with a good romance, something that doesn't have so much angst in it, with so much drama that, you know, it's like your stomach acid is just churning. This is actually a good one. You might want to check it out. Alright, so I'll just stop there for now. So, let God lead, let love lead, maintain peace within yourself, and peace.